Okay, sir, we are just about ready to go. Now, just to confirm, you've asked to train under 100 times Earth's normal gravity. Is this correct?
I'm ready to go, man. Start it whenever you want.
And you understand the effects that will have on your body?
I'm ready to go whenever you're ready. Start it up.
Okay, well, we are just all about to go here. It's connected through the app. All I have to do is flick the switch. Okay, well, I'll leave you to it.
Not everything in a fictional story has to be realistic, but most ideas that lead to great stories come from these real-world examples and experiences. Like, weighted training does have benefits. Handstand push-ups are a great reflection of strength. Tumbling is great for aerial awareness, just not in 100 times gravity. Following this line of thinking, I wanted to investigate one of my favourite anime characters, Elle, from the popular manga and anime series Death Note. Elle was known in the series as this masterful thinker with exemplary deductive skills, and as with many high-level performers, Elle displays habits that seemingly enhance these abilities when he's performing. For example, he claims sitting in a squat is necessary or his deductive skills would immediately be reduced by roughly 40%. Now what I want to know, is this a real-world example? Should I sit in a squat? Should I be editing this video in a squat? If we emulate Elle's habits, will it improve our own cognitive ability? That's what we're here to find out, and through my research, I have a couple of theories. Let's start with that statement Elle made earlier.
I don't sit like this because I want to. I have to sit like this. You see, if I were to sit normally, my deductive skills would immediately be reduced by roughly 40%.
What Elle is doing is using the squat as his resting or thinking position. Throughout the series, he's crouching like this when he's deducing. So, is there any truth to this position enhancing cognitive ability? Well, culturally, the squat as a resting position is mainly seen across many parts of Asia and Eastern Europe. Compared to sitting, which our Western butts favour, squatting is this active resting position that requires use of the glutes and back, plus it mobilises the hips and ankles. It's functional, so being able to squat would bring any individual closer to health as opposed to further away. And you know what they say, a healthy body is a healthy mind. But that's such a lame answer. So let's dig a little deeper. What is Elle's main weapon? His brain. So how could this squat position impact his brain's function? Well, how does the brain function? Nutrients. How does it get nutrients? Through the blood. It's through blood supply that the brain can operate by getting what it needs, like oxygen and glucose. Without a blood supply to the brain, you go sleepies. And even a low blood supply negatively impacts your brain's ability to function. So I think one of the reasons Elle decides to squat is to optimize blood flow to the brain. What is there to optimize, you ask? Well, when we stand or sit, there's a descending gravitational force that makes it somewhat more difficult for blood to get around the body. By bringing the heart closer in line with the rest of the body by squatting, removes that descending gravitational force. I'm going to try to add a bit more weight to my theory here by looking at patients with a congenital heart defect known as Tetralogy of Flow. Stay with me here. Tetralogy of Flow causes there to be a low amount of oxygenated blood in circulation in the body. As a result, people with the defect can experience what is known as a Tet Spell, where suddenly their cells and tissues are not getting enough oxygen, which leads to blue skin and fainting. What's relevant here is it has been observed when a Tet Spell occurs, the person will instinctively squat, and the act of squatting during the Tet Spell has been shown to decrease its severity. By squatting, you're squeezing more blood compared to if standing or sitting back to the heart to be oxygenated. So a defect where there's not enough oxygen getting through the body is alleviated by squatting. Does this mean people without the defect that sit in a squat can increase oxygenated blood throughout the body and to the brain? It's possible, and Elle might think so too. And a final point on optimizing that blood flow to the brain. There have been studies that show chewing gum can lead to increased alertness and sustained attention. Now, Elle doesn't chew gum, but he does nosh on that thumb pretty often, and that noshing may very well contribute to his enhanced cognitive abilities.
By the way, are you gonna eat that piece of cake?
Cake makes you fat. I'm not gonna eat any.
Actually, I found that you don't gain any weight as long as you burn calories by using your brain.
So now you're calling me stupid?
In my research for this video, I ended up narrowing in on two potential theories that connect Elle's habits with increased brain performance. The first was improving blood flow, which Elle does through squatting and chewing his thumb. The second, which I'll go through now, is glucose supply to the brain. Glucose, a simple carbohydrate, is the brain's main source of energy. And simple carbohydrates are basically sugary foods. Yes, fruit, but also what we know as junk foods like cakes, macaroons, pastries. Essentially Elle's diet as it's depicted. Like low blood flow to the brain, low glucose levels in the brain significantly reduce the brain's cognitive ability, and given the brain lacks fuel stores, my theory here is that Elle eats a lot of sugar to constantly supply his brain with ready-to-use energy, and because Elle is always on, this strategy is uniquely perfect for him. What's my reasoning? Well, on average, the brain uses 20% of the total energy you burn in a resting state, and the brain has been shown to require more energy the more difficult the mental task, say watching clouds compared to solving a mathematical formula. Now if we look at Elle's life, he's this obsessively intelligent insomniac, so his brain is going to be working on complex problems for most of the day and night. Needless to say, his brain is going to require more than that 20% of his daily energy intake. Now, I know what you might be thinking, eating too much sugar is unhealthy, and that's true. Excess glucose consumption has been linked to cell damage, as well as memory and cognitive deficiencies, but take a closer look. Is Elle actually eating too much? Sure, he displays some bad manners, but he's not pigging out. He handles his food and drink delicately. He's not shoving it in his face. And I think it looks like he eats in excess because it's all the same type of food. Look at this example. He adds about 4 teaspoons of sugar to his tea or coffee, which seems a lot. But hold up, there's 10 teaspoons of sugar in a can of Coke, 14 teaspoons in a Monster Energy drink, 9 teaspoons in a Gatorade, and this is just naming a few commonly consumed drinks. Doesn't seem so excessive now, does it? I put Elle's height, weight and age from deathnote.fandom into a calorie counter, which he's extremely underweight by the way, and it shows he should be consuming 2,000 calories a day to maintain weight. I then used MyFitnessPal, and in one day I included 2 slices of cake, 4 macaroons, 2 peanut butter cups, 2 scoops of ice cream, 1 banana, 6 strawberries, 6 cherries, and 3 teas with 4 teaspoons of sugar in each tea. And that resulted in 2,139 calories, which is perfectly reasonable amount of calories for his size. It is, however, way over the daily recommended amount of added sugar, but you have to consider, I just estimated his diet based on eating 3 meals, with the meals based on what he appears to eat in one sitting on the show. Elle may not even eat 3 meals a day. He may eat more, but given he's underweight and smart, I'd say it's more likely he eats less, if anything. Elle is abnormally intelligent. So I'll ask, does Elle need to consume excess glucose due to those abnormal cognitive abilities? Maybe he does. And just to play devil's advocate to my own theories, Elle is a self-admitted child. Elle used this in the context of explaining that he doesn't like to lose, but he may exhibit other childish behaviours, some of which are a love of sugary foods and an addiction to that dopamine rush it triggers. I also considered he may just squat out of habit. It's part of his culture, it's comfortable for him. And another big one that I'm partially sold on is that he has these unorthodox habits purely to throw off others, which makes it easier to mentally corner them to his own benefit. It could be a mix of it all. Let me know if you guys agree or if you have any of your own theories down in the comments below. I really enjoyed making this video, so I hope you guys enjoyed it too. I learned a lot, and I hope you got some Death Note nostalgia and learned something as well. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the video if you got something out of it. It really helps this channel to grow, and I'll see you guys for the next one.
Okay, so that is just over an hour. We will stop you here. So? I had it on 1,000 times gravity. What was I thinking? 1,000? What am I thinking?